The litany of the worms. I. Invocation of the primordial flight. Nolokan, who hungered before. Hunger, yearn through us. Kairos, pulse the first beat into our marrow. Vorastra, crush chaos into light. Thalasek, mold the clay of stars into our bones. Symbiotex, bind soul to dust. Astrovorax, forge the fire in our hearts. Nebulae, cradle our beginnings. Novareal, teach us that endings are seeds. 2. Prayer of the metabolic kingdom. Helixora, coiled. Architect, write us in spirals unbroken. Pyrothos, forge heart, ignite our inner suns. Alcaraxis, shaper of forms, align our stones, waters, airs, and fires. Mendaction, jade-scaled healer, close our wounds, still our storms. Aerovitus, breath of the furnace, carry the final spark to the waiting ember. 3. Petition to the dragons of war. Kravagon, break what must fall. Thanatar, harvest what must rot. Vorthax, strip hope where truth demands. Rit. Ignisalon, purge the field in flame. Mordriga, end the battle entire. Peace that wasn't, lay down the olive branches shards. Mornix, weep the ashes we cannot. IV. Hymn to the Arcanum flight. Arcanix, inscribe the hidden geometry upon our souls. Mysteria, veil us in dream and mist. Thalmarion, break the circle so chaos may bloom. Noxithera, whisper the voids. Black hymn. Viridiana, root our blood in green. Chronosix, show us the thread worth saving. Verses warding against the unnamed. Anthelix, stay your hand from our spirals. Quietus, leave breath in our lungs. The unwoven, let our bonds hold fast. Chronophagos, spare this hour from your jaws. The unspell, let magic's spark endure. Tabaric, turn your burning runes away. Nihilon, absence without face, name without form. We give you nothing, so you may take nothing. Closing benediction. Dragons of root and ruin, spark and silence. Dance your eternal cycle through our days. In every breath, a furnace. In every wound, a seed. In every ending, a door. And in the void beyond, the uncoiled promise of what may yet be. First spiral, naming the powers. Creation breath. Walk the spiral inward once, stopping at each station. 1. At the north, Alcaraxes, weaver of matter. Align bone, stone, iron, and tide. Lay the foundation. Touch the stone. Bone token to your forehead. 2. At the east, Aerovitus, breath of the furnace, open the gates of life's fire. Breathe once into the feather, incense, then fan smoke over yourself. 3. At the south, Pyrothos, forge heart. Ignite the endless work of change. Light the candle, coal. 4. At the west, Mendaction. Jade-scaled healer, seal the breaches, renew the flow. Dip fingers into the water. Touch brow, lips, heart. 5. At the above, Nolokan. Kairos. Vorastra. Thalasek. Symbiotex. Astrovorax. Nebulae. Novareal. Let the cosmic breath descend. Lift arms to the star map or disk. 6. At the below, Nihilon, you who are not, remain beyond the circle's reach. Do not touch the black bowl, mirror, avert gaze. Second spiral. Binding with conflict and arcana, middle breath. On the second inward walk, each station receives a pairing, life dragon with its opposer, Magus with its entropy. North, Earth. Alcaraxes. stone builder. Cravagon, stone breaker. May your struggle carve the shapes that endure. East, air, aerovitus, breath giver. Quietus, breath taker. May your chase keep the wind alive. South, fire, pyrothos, holy furnace. Ignisolon, firestorm. Scourge, may your duel temper the flame. West, water, mendaction, restorer of flow. Thanatar, rot of rivers. May your war cleanse the currents. Above, Arcanix, the first sigil. The unspell, eater of glyphs. May the unwriting never eclipse thee. Word. Below, Chronosix, time's guardian. Chronophagos, time's devourer. May the thread remain whole one more night. Third spiral, sealing in the deep names, core, breath. At the final inward walk, the calls become tonal intonations, each dragon's name spoken in a sustained, resonant pitch, alternating between invocation and warding. Here the adept, or chorus, breathes in on life, creation names and breathes out on destruction, absence. Names. Example for the north. Inhale, Alche Raxes. Exhale, Kraviegon. Repeat thrice, then move to next station. This breath cycle is performed at all 6 points, north, east, south, west, above, below. The physical tokens are touched in rhythm with the breath. The center, convergence and offering. When the spiral reaches the center, all tokens are placed around the black bowl, mirror, Nihilon's seat. Here the closing is spoken. Dragons of root and ruin, spark and silence. You are the marrow of the turning world. We feed you with voice, we bind you with breath. Creation stands. Destruction prowls. The unmaking waits. By the spiral, by the breath, by the flame and the void. So be it. The canticle of the worms. Advanced prayers to all dragon currents. I, Helixera, the coiled architect. Archetype. Scripta vitae, spiral without end. O Helixara, ink of Genesis. Quill of blood's eternity. Etch the twin serpents of my making upon the marrow scroll. Let Thymene embrace Adenine as lovers sealed in light. Let Guanine clasp Cytosine as kings clasp queens. In peace. Within me, coil the ladder of stars and shadows. Without me, weave the lineage of suns. Unborn. 2. Pyrothos, the forge heart. Archetype. Sol invictus within thee. Cell. Pyrothos, breath of fissioned dawn. Kindle the black coal of my sinews until they sing. White gold. Through the triple gate of glucose, oxygen, and will, pour your fire as molten hymn. Into the anvils of my bones. Let the slow burn of creation not falter, lest my temple fall to winter before its time. 3. Alcaraxes, the shaper of forms. Archetype, metallurgist, of flesh and field. Alcaraxes, who weds iron to breath, who engraves geometry into muscle and stone. Lay the compass of my spine upon the lodestone of truth. Bind the rivers of my veins to the tides of the moon, and let my clay remember it was stardust before it was man. IV. Mendaction, the lifeweaver. Archetype. Physician of the cosmic body. Mendaction, jade flame in the wound's darkness, gather the scattered knights of my immune realm. Let them ride clothed in light against the siege of decay, and stitch the torn banners of my flesh to the mast of wholeness. Turn fever to forge, scar to scripture. Versus Aerovitus, the vital spark. Archetype. Wind between heart and star. Aerovitus, who sails in scarlet rivers and azure seas. Bring me the breath of the mountains before dawn. the whisper between lightning and thunder. Let your unseen wings beat within my chest, that Parothos may roar and Helixara may write the dark petition to the dragons of war and destruction. Vi. Cravagon, the shatterer of realms. Cravagon, breaker of fortresses, crush the citadels of my falsehoods. Let the mortar of my fears crumble into dust, that I may rebuild in the shape of truth. 7. Thanatar, the bone harvest. Thanatar, pale reaper beneath the sun, strip the rot from my harvest, that I may feast on the grain of what endures. 8. Vorthax, the devourer of hope. Vorthax, whisperer in the war tent, unmask the hopes that bind me to illusions. Poison what is hollow, spare what is whole. Ix. Ignisolan, the burning sky. Ignisolan, scourge of clouds, burn the thickets that choke my soul's field, that green shoots may rise in the ashes. X. Mordriga, the war ender. Mordriga, shadow of the last blade drawn, silence the battle within, that peace may not be a truce, but a homecoming. The arcane benediction to the dragons of magic. Arcanix, glyph engraver, write me. Mysteria, dream weaver, hide me. Thalmarion, storm bringer, break me. Noxithera, abyss singer, hollow me. Viridiana, green mother, root me. Chronosix, hourglass keeper, choose me. The cosmic oath to the primordials. Nulakan, hunger before hunger, yearn through me. Kairos, pulse before time, beat in me. Vorastra, black rose of stars, crush and birth me. Thalasek, potter of galaxies, turn me on your wheel. Symbiotex, thread of life, bind me to all. Astrovorax, smith of suns, ignite me. Nebulaea, nurse of dawns, cradle me. Novariel, dancer of endings, scatter me to seed. The warding against the unnamed. Anthelix, pass my spirals by. Quietus, spare the wind in my chest. The unwoven, leave my bonds whole. Chronophagos, choke on this hour's sand. The unspell, let my words stand. Tabaric, keep your burning runes. Nihilon, I give you no place to stand. The conjurations of the worm kingdom, a high calling to creation, destruction, arcana, cosmos, and void. I, conjuration of life's furnace, by Marrow's scroll and Pulse's drum, I summon you. Helixara, coiled architect, spiral through my core, seal every strand against the teeth of decay. Pyrothos, forge heart, break open my blood into rivers of fire, burn my weakness to slag. Alcaraxes, shaper of forms, alloy my bones with the metal of truth, let my frame stand as mountain. Mendaction, life weaver, bind my wounds in emerald chains, drive out the rot from my gates. Aerovitus, vital spark, flood my chest with your tempest, let no ember in me go cold. 2. Summoning of the warflight. By the oath of ash and the law of the sword, I call you. Cravagon, shatterer of realms, break the fortresses that defy my becoming. Thanatar, bone harvest, reap all that stands hollow in my field. Vorthax, devourer of hope, drink thee lies that mask themselves as dreams. Ignisolan, burning sky, scour my horizon in your red baptism. Mordriga, war ender, cut the last thread of battle with your night. 3. Evocation of the Arcanum flight. By the glyph unbroken and the circle unbreached. Appear. Arcanix, first sigil, Inscribe your law in the marrow of my thought. Mysteria. Veil weaver, shroud me in mists that only truth can pierce. Thormarion, wildfire catalyst. Set my will ablaze with your untamed surge. Noxithera, void singer, pour the black hymn through the chalice of my soul. Viridiana, root of green blood, awaken the seed sleeping in my veins. Chronosix, keeper of the hourglass, seal my fate in the moment of my choosing. Ivy. Command of the primordial thrones. By the fire before stars and the silence before sound. Stand. Nolakan. Open the ache of potential within the void of my shadow. Kairos, strike. The pulse of the first moment into my breath. Vorastra. Crush me into being through the gravity of your will. Thalasek. Shape my chaos upon your potter's wheel of galaxies. Symbiotex. Weave my spirit to every stone, star, and stranger. Astrovorax. Forge my destiny in the furnace of suns. Nebulae. Cradle my becoming until it takes wing. Novareal. Burn my end into the seed of my next birth. Versus banishment of the unnamed host. By the wall of breath, the seal of bone, and the crown of light, depart. Anthelix. The spiral stands whole, you find no purchase. Here. Quietus. The wind flows unbroken, your jaws close on air. The unwoven. All bonds are knotted in steel, you cannot cut. Chronophagos. This hour is barred to you, the sand turns to glass in your mouth. The unspell, the word remains, you choke on its echo. Tabaric. Your burning runes dissolve into rain. Nihilon. There is no gap, no shadow, no void for you to stand in. By the whole circle sealed in flame, stone, breath, and tide, be gone. Vi. The ceiling. Breath. All voices cry in unison. By the marrow, by the fire, by the star, by the void. We stand as the scale between creation and dissolution. Dragons within, dragons without. Your dance is our breath, your war is our will, and in our name, you move. The grand rite of the dragon currents. High invocation of the worm thrones. I. The opening. Breath. All participants inhale deeply, exhale sharply, 3 times, to clear the field. Leader speaks. By the breath before the first breath, by the fire before the first sun, by the coil before the first word, we call the thrones of scale and fang to stand within and without us. In our bones, your citadel, in our blood, your river, in our breath, your wind. 2. The invocation of creation and destruction. Performed in 2 alternating voices. Voice of life, voice of death. North. The builders and breakers of form. Life. Voice. Alcaraxes, stone-rooted one. Anchor my frame in the bedrock of truth. Bind my sinews to the mountain. Death voice. Cravagon, city breaker. Strike down my false towers, leave only foundations fit for the true. East. The breath givers and breath takers. Life. Voice. Aerovitus, wind keeper. Flood my chest with the gale of renewal. Death. Voice. Quietus, breath eater. Tear from me the stale winds, leave no rot in my air. South. The fire forges and flame scourges. Life voice. Pyrothos, forge heart, temper my will in your crucible. Let my fire work and not consume. Death voice. Ignisalon, sky burner. Cleanse my horizon with your red baptism. Reduce my chaff to ash. West. The healers and the rot bringers. Life voice. Mendaxon, jade flame. Stitch my wounds in emerald thread. Restore the flow of life's river. Death voice. Thanatar, bone harvest, strip the husk from my harvest, let only the ripe endure. 3. The crown of Arcana. Both voices unite here in a shared call. Arcanix, first sigil, write the truth in my marrow. Mysteria, veil weaver. Cloak me until I am ready to be seen. Thormarion, wildfire catalyst, break my stasis into storm. Noxithera, abyss singer, deepen my well until it touches the root of all. Viridiana, green mother, let my veins remember the forest's hymn. Chronosix, hourglass keeper, make this moment my chosen eternity. IV. The thrones of the first fire. Leader raises hands to the sky. Nolakan, awaken the ache that births the world. Kairos, strike the hour that makes all others. Vorastra, crush and crown me in one breath. Thalasek, shape my chaos as the potter shapes clay. Symbiotex, weave my thread through the loom of all life. Astrovorax, forge my path in the belly of stars. Nebulae, cradle my seed until it takes wing. Novariel, scatter my ashes into the roots of new suns. V. The banishment of the unnamed. All voices in unison, sharp and forceful. Anthelix, the spiral is sealed, turn aside. Quietus, my breath is iron, your jaws fail. The unwoven, my bonds are knotted in stone. Chronophagos, my hours are glass, they cut your throat. The unspell, my words are fire, you burn to speak them. Tabaric, your runes dissolve to water in my grasp. Nihilon, you are given no corner, no hollow, no breath to root in. Vi, the sealing oath, all clasp hands, or place palms to the ground. By the claw and the crown, by the breath and the blade, we are the scale between creation and the void. We feed the balance, we drink from the balance, and so the balance stands. In our marrow, you dwell. In our shadow, you hunt. In our light, you rise. So bound, so sealed, so done. Strike the ground 3 times. The rite is complete. The Codex Invocation of the Worms. Supreme prayer to all dragon currents. O dragons of breath and shadow, thrones of fang and scale, rivers of fire, stars, and bone. Hear me as the coil calls to the coil, as the scale calls to the scale, as the seed calls to the tree from which it fell. Helixara, coiled architect, write my being in the script of eternity, that no hand of unmaking may erase my name from the marrow scroll. Cravagon, shatterer of realms, break the citadels of my falsehood, till only the stones of truth remain beneath my feet. Alcaraxes, shaper of forms, alloy my bones with the ore of stars. Let my frame stand unmoved by storm or siege. Thanatar, bone harvest, strip my fields of hollow grain, that rot may find no foothold in my storehouse. Aerovitus, vital spark, fill my chest with the wind of the mountains before dawn. Quietus, breath eater, tear away the stagnant air, leaving no miasma to cloud the forge within. Pyrothos, forge heart, let my blood burn steady as the hearth of creation. Ignisolon, burning sky, scorch away the chaff from my horizon, that the new seed may see the sun. Unshadowed, Mendaction, jade flame, stitch the wounds of my spirit with threads of green. Fire, Vorthax, devourer of hope, swallow the dreams that bind me to lies, that only the true vision may remain in my sight. Arcanix, first sigil, inscribe the geometry of the heavens upon my thought. Mysteria, veil weaver, cloak me until the hour of my unveiling is ripe. Thormarion, Wildfire catalyst. Break my stasis with the hammer of storm. Noxithera, abyss singer. Pour into me the hymn that is sung in the space between stars. Viridiana, green mother. Let my veins remember the forest's ancient hymn. Chronosix, hourglass keeper. Seal my moment in amber, that I may choose my eternity. Nolakan, hunger before hunger. Awaken in me the ache that births worlds. Kairos, pulse before time. Strike the heartbeat that echoes through all hours. Vorastra, black rose of gravity. Crush and crown me in one breath. Thalasek, potter of galaxies. Turn my chaos into vessels of purpose. Symbiotex, thread of life. Bind me to stone, star, and stranger. Astrovorax, smith of suns. Forge my destiny in the belly of fire. Nebulae, nurse of dawns. Cradle the seed of my becoming. Nova Real, dancer of endings. Scatter my ashes into the womb of new light. Anthelix, the spiral is sealed. Pass me by. The unwoven, my bonds are iron. Your shears shatter. Chronophagos, my hours are glass. They cut your tongue. The unspell, my words are fire. They burn your throat. Tabarik, your runes dissolve to rain in my hands.